Hi all, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about my pure proofreading and editing platform, reciprocity.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you think this is a great idea. Definitely go check out the website. Purchase some credits if you want to help out. And if you need your own proofreading and editing done, it's relatively inexpensive. As well as you're going to help build out this platform and make it more usable and awesome for everybody. So I wanted to talk to you about is how much it costs to build to create or start a tech startup. So I am a professor. I'm trained in strategy and innovation. I currently teach topics on innovation, entrepreneurship, as well as strategy in a major research school in Florida. If you want to check it out, you can find me on the internet. So the key to creating a startup or when you create something is to make sure that you minimize the amount of cost it's going to be. It's always pretty expensive to start something. So what you want to do is make sure that any startup costs are minimum, and as well as you're kind of sort of building whatever you're building on the side. You don't. I think it's a mistake to go and quit your day job very quickly and devote all of your time to a tech startup or whatever you're working on. Because most things actually fail. Most things actually don't do very well. Or if they don't fail, it actually takes a long time to build something. So I've been building this particular platform, and I have no intention to quit my job as a professor. I think it's a great, amazing job, and I'm hoping to get other people that are interested and that they will help me manage this thing and develop it and all that kind of stuff. So right now I've actually have contract manufacturers that have built it or contract developers that have built it, and I'm trying to do these YouTube videos to build awareness. And hopefully I can sort of give it off to somebody else and they will take it and build it from there and continue on with it. But I still want to be a part of the process as so you could structure things and all sorts of different things. But that's another topic. So what I want to talk to you is how much it actually costs. Well, it really what you want to do is minimize the cost as much as possible. Work on your day job for the most part to sort of plunk away at something until it actually gets it starts producing revenue, or enough revenue that you feel comfortable leaving your day job. It would be a mistake to stop what you're doing. The other thing that you have to consider, and probably the most important thing in terms of determining the cost, so this current platform, I'll be open with you. Right now it's cost me about $30,000, probably more, dollars to build. So the platform itself, by the time you actually have to get somebody to, so you have a great idea, right? The other thing that once you have this great idea, you have to get somebody to sort of design the user interface for it, and then once you sort of have a thought of how it actually is going to work, then you have to go and get some sort of animator or somebody that's good at doing cartoons and stuff like that. Somebody's going to build that out. And then after that, you have to get a front-end developer that they're going to do a bunch of code in the front part of a website. Then you got to get the back-end developer that's going to do all of the stuff that actually sort of moves and does sort of the algorithms and stuff like that in the background. So there's many different steps. And then you got to do quality control after that. So you can cut sort of steps along the way and cut back as much as possible, but it's still roughly, it's going to cost you, unless you do it yourself and you plunk away, which is actually really difficult to do. And I actually wouldn't recommend it unless you're an extremely good programmer and you know all sorts of ins and outs, simply because there's so many different steps along the way. as well. Even if you are a good programmer, you're probably not good at doing animation or anything like that. So there's just a lot of different moving parts. And it's better to get somebody else that's an expert in a particular area. And that's actually what a Fortune 500 CEO does, is they think about, who can I get that's actually good? So the way that I built this out is I actually found, I went to Upwork, which is a great website, and I found contract developers. You can actually go into Tim Ferriss's website. There's a blog post that he did in how to actually find credible contract manufacturers. That actually was really good and helpful. So check out the blog post by Tim Ferriss on that. It helped me sort of narrow it down. It was just pretty useful, I think. And then once I found a contract manufacturer, it took me a long time. So you want to make sure that you go slow with that particular step, because you have to build trust with that particular person. So make sure that they're highly rated, that they have a lot. It's just like any sort of investing, right? So you want to make sure that the company is very highly rated, that there is, that they have a long track record. At least on Upwork, it's not going to be that long, but as long as possible, that they have a lot of jobs and the ratings are fairly consistent across many people that are rating it, in all those kind of things. You want to make sure that you are just not going to get ripped off, and that they're actually going to do the work. And then you have to sort of monitor the progress as you go. So not counting my own time in this, which has actually been probably too much, but everything takes a lot of work. It's roughly been $30,000 for development. Marketing at this point it's probably been $5,000 to $6,000 or so on. I tried Facebook ads. It wasn't as effective as, say, YouTube ads, for example. YouTube ads are pretty effective, as well as the AdWords. Google AdWords is extremely effective, except for it's costly. So there's two downfalls with it. It's costly, and the other thing is that it doesn't sort of build momentum, and you don't get the sort of installed based from that. So people don't actually see that you're actually building this out. So it's hard to get that social proof going compared to doing sort of these YouTube ads like this, which actually is a little bit more effective, I think. And Facebook does the same thing. You can start building up the installed base, or you start building up that social proof that other people think this is a cool idea. So yeah, and you're looking at a fairly significant cost. But that cost could have been reduced if I did my own programming. Again, what I'm doing though is substituting my own effort, and I value my time a lot. I am actually worth a significant, my time per hour is worth a lot. So I want to get somebody else that is going to do it, and they're going to be better at it, and I could pay them at a sort of lower cost per, lower hourly wage than it would be for me to sort of figure things out along the way, and they'd be much better at it. So it really depends on the type of technology that you have in terms of the cost of developing something like this. You want to make sure that, so if you're developing something that's very novel, which I think this is actually very novel, it's going to take a lot, and it's going to take a lot of effort, particularly with advertising, to sort of get people to understand what you're doing and building, and that, because other people haven't sort of understood it, they don't get it. So if it's something that's kind of already been out there, then the costs are going to be a lot more cheaper, because you could just say, well, it's like this or like that, right? But what I'm building is new and different. The other thing, so largely depends on the technology. Also depends on how large your current network is. But often it's hard to sort of judge what that would be in terms of finding out what is particularly useful, right? So if you think about you might think that your network is very large. You have, a lot of people. You got people on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. You're in sort of a social community. But then when you sort of get other people to use it, you try to think that you're going to market it very quickly. They're not going to see what you're doing. So it actually might take a lot more marketing beyond your current network. The other thing in terms of the technology, it depends on sort of how custom the technology is, or compared to what the current, what other people are using. So if there's a lot of custom stuff, and there's a little bit of custom stuff on this, but not a lot, it will still cost a significant amount, or it'll cost more and more the more custom stuff that you're putting on it. But I try to minimize that as much as possible. So with that, the long answer, how much it actually costs to develop something like a new website or something like that. You can do it very, very inexpensively, such as on a Wix website, which is actually great. You can make sure you can reduce your costs. And that's what this started out on, was on a Wix website. You can reduce the cost as much as possible. And then you want to try to build revenue going from there. So the cost largely depends on the technology, and you want to minimize that cost as much as possible before you start building revenue and sort of trying different things out until it actually starts sticking, or people actually start thinking that what you're developing is really interesting. They're willing to participate and sort of help develop it by purchasing, in my case, purchasing credits, or whatever you're selling. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you think it's a cool video, make sure you do like it. If you think that the application that I'm building, the platform that I'm building, reciprocity.com, is useful, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as make sure that you go to the website and purchase some credits. It's going to help out to build this a little bit quicker. So that's it. Have a good day and take care. Bye.